Question 689. Should the goal of government be to decrease legal restrictions imposed on individuals while increasing them for corporations?
Hell no.
Really? You're actually asking that?
You think
Silly
they what?
kids.
What? You say, well, what's the alternative? Well, you.
No. Read that question again, Dave, just so I make sure I heard that correctly.
It's in two parts, is the issue, and I had problems joining the two parts together. Right, should the goal of government be to decrease legal restrictions imposed on individuals whilst increasing those restrictions on corporations? So, should business be more tightly regulated while individual freedom should be expanded as much as is humanly possible?
There's not a corporation on the face of the earth that can be trusted with the public good. And all corporations require strict and thorough regulation. Their interest is only their profit. They have no interest in society.
Yes, we have America to thank for that.
Future.
Yeah.
I didn't know that going into the 70s again, going into the 80s, that corporations in America had a responsibility to workers, shareholders, and the greater society. Okay, they were basically all three had to be considered. And in the 70s, shareholders got together and sued some companies and said that shareholder profits are the only things that are important. And anything that reduces shareholder profit is bad. And basically it changed it so that all companies are only allowed, literally you can sue directors of companies for doing something good that doesn't increase shareholder value.
This is why, because even, but this is also a symptom why not even just not doing anything good, but why in a lot of sort of industries, I mean, one of the sort of, obviously the big things was that a certain amount of capital would get reinvested into the companies or whatever, into the business to help it continue to compete. That seems to happen on a far smaller scale overall.
Oh, well, that's because, again, this is another one of those things that's really funny. Okay, this is going to be my personal opinion and looking at how America went. Oddly enough, I know more about the economic history of America in the 20th century than I know anything about the UK. Right? You need high corporation tax. You need very high corporation tax to encourage them not to take money out of the company. You encourage them to reinvest, to actually to invest to grow the business. Whereas right now it's cheap. It's cheap that that shareholders just want their money out.
Yeah.
At the end of each year, so there's no planning beyond that. Because if you've got money left over, give it back to the shareholders.
Yeah, because this is oh damn! Do you know? Oh, God damn! Where's my bloody copy of Capital when I need it? But I best get to.
I like in Capital. I mean, I do like not Capital. No, who wrote Capital?
Marx.
No, forget that. You know Adam Smith's book that I forgot the name of.
Which one? Because Marx addressed a lot of the Adam Smith stuff.
The key point that Smith made was that what Jenny said at the start.
Yeah.
That corporations can't be trusted. Basically, he said that merchants have no country.
It's a high regulated form of capital. Yeah, that's what Adam Smith was.
Right, and he said you need,
which is ironic considering, but some of the problems with even with that, I think Marx addressed in Capital. That's my own personal opinion. But
the point is, you can't argue with capitalists with Marx.
No,
which you've got you. But the point being,
unless they're smart capitalists, because a lot of them are very, very familiar with Marx, if they really know their shit.
Well, I find funny that Marx is not. If you've got to split Marx into, you've really got to split Marx into two.
Yes.
His analysis of industry as it was and society was inspired. It's brilliant. and then you've got maybe his solutions aren't necessarily quite so good.
Yeah, he did, but again, didn't really. This is what a lot of people. He didn't really write a lot of like blueprints for future socialist societies or anything. And he was very, very wary of people. He was always very wary of doing that. And he gave reasons why, which is whenever I hear people saying, "Oh, well, that sort of society that Marx described can never happen," and blah blah. That's when I know I'm talking to someone who's never fucking read Marx ever. When they start saying, because they will always preface this by saying, "I've read Karl Marx. He's got some good ideas, but his whole blueprint for the future thing." That's when I know they're bullshitting and they've ever read anything he's ever wrote.
Yes. Right. Jennifer says, "I posit that the only restrictions on individuals should be that they can't hurt other people. Am I wrong? Do you include themselves in that, to at least some degree?" I mean, it's one of those things where I'm all for allowing people to take personal risks, but when a risk hits the point of outright self-destruction, I'm thinking the government might want to step in.
I kind of agree with Jennifer conceptually, but I just don't see how the reality could possibly exist in such a manner.
My point is, if I want to jump off the Empire State Building, should I have the freedom to do so?
No, because you could hit somebody down below.
Assuming not. Assuming not. Assuming the only negative. No, it is, but it's not. It's not the point of my question.
No.
The point of the question is: should I be allowed to jump off the Empire State Building, thinking to myself that I will be able to survive it?
Not
trying to kill myself.
For the very reason that Jenny just gave. It's
no.
It's still applicable, Dave.
No, not in the. I'm trying to give an abstract point here. Yeah, not. I totally think it might hurt someone else. Right. The question is, can I jump? Should the government allow me to jump off something very, very high if I have got the belief that I will survive?
No.
No.
Right.
No, and I know it's an abstract point you're trying to make here, Dave, but it still comes back to what Jenny said.
No, it doesn't.
I'm sorry, it does, because when it's a position, even if it's a belief position, you'll survive this. If there's the possibility you are going to possibly hurt someone else in the process of that.
Yeah, but that's automatically ruled out. That's my point. That's automatically ruled out. If there's any risk of you hurting someone, the government should step in. I am talking about a scenario where there is no risk.
Go ahead, Granny.
I still say no, because people can have deluded ideas and people can have mental illness, and these are curable conditions. And I think there's a responsibility on society to protect members that are unable to protect themselves, which would be your case in that situation, because you are unable to think clearly enough to know how to take care of yourself.
Yes. Well, this is my opinion.
I think that's where I come off as well. That I think society has a responsibility to protect people from themselves when it's clear that they require that to have continued survival. But on the other hand, that would not include well deliberated and assisted suicide.
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
Completely agree. I mean, my point was to the question I was trying to get to at that point. What was about a scenario where you believe you're going to survive something, and that we can show that you're not.
Society has an obligation, if not responsibility, it's simply responsibility to protect people from themselves when they're incapable of rendering a sane decision. It's the nature of mental illness to not be able to do that, and we we're a nation that, or a culture, or a species that takes care of its lowest members, theoretically. Not much
Jennifer
lately,
says,
but...
I'm thinking of the case of drugs, where they're hurting only themselves. Drugs should be a public health issue. Completely agree. That's not to say there aren't other issues surrounding that society might have to bear the burden for, but very often...
Well, these sorts of things are always easier to decide when you keep them in a vacuum.
Yes, very much so. This is a problem. I was arguing with someone yesterday about why prayer and religion are allowed to continue to exist from an evolutionary perspective, right? And the net result is the same sort of thing with drugs. It's whether or not the cost to society, cost to the species, is greater than the cost of doing something about it. And religion, the big thing about religion is it helps societal cohesion, and I'm getting sidetracked, and it stops people having to think. If you don't have to think about something, you don't have to expend energy on it, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, now that in its own right offers a benefit to society. And as long as that benefit isn't killing off too many people, evolutionary it'll be selected for. And it's the same thing with most drug use. Most drug use doesn't offer a massive cost to society, apart from when you criminalise it. When you criminalise it, it seems to cost a huge amount.
I think it depends on what drug you're legalizing. I mean, we don't want to legalize everything.
I think you want to decriminalise everything rather than legalise everything. I think lots of it should be legal, but I think decriminalising... I don't think it should be a criminal offence to do some of the more harmful drugs. That doesn't mean to say I think we should make it very available and legal to use it. Does that make sense? But again, there is a hard argument that even the hardest drugs, even the worst drugs out there is still a hard argument that says, even if it was legal, as long as you have other things that are legal alongside it and you can monitor quality, and even then, them all being legal might be better. That's a much bigger argument discussion. Backwards and forwards, which mostly goes so far away from the question. Because no, it doesn't really, in the sense that the question was whether or not we should be increasing individual freedoms. I mean, that's what it was saying. Should we be increasing individual freedom, and should we be being harsher on companies to make sure we maintain those individual freedoms?
Yeah.
We can go with yes. Math Big?
Yeah. There's not really much I can add to this.
I think the question should be, Dave, is how do you separate or define? I mean, yes, you can use this is a corporation. It exists on paper. This is a human being. They actually walk and talk.
It's an interesting question, isn't it?
But there are certain people who are registered as corporations, or their life exists within a corporate structure. Which, like the Supreme Court fucked up on generations ago, is a corporation ever human or considered people in a legal sense of our Constitution? And that's, I mean, for me, that's clearly no. Mm-hmm. I don't care what the Supreme Court said; they were wrong. And I hope that we can correct that at some point. But for me, that's a big part of the question too. Is why do I have that right more so than a corporation? Because I think that it would also influence on the kinds of regulations that you would promote for either.
Yes. Well, this again, you're very much. Oddly enough, when I was trying to think about this question, and like, the problem is, the reason I didn't rewrite this question to better, and probably two questions, was because I got stuck thinking about it. which goes very against something I've told MathPig, but occasionally I do think about some of the questions.
I know you keep telling me you won't do it, and then we keep.
Well, I don't generally. It depends where they come from. At the end of the day, this one was a given to me question rather than just a found question.
Wonder Lady asked, "Are freedom and safety exclusive?"
No.
And I would say no.
Not at all. And the problem I've got is I'm trying to win this argument with someone at the moment. That there's a lot of people that don't appreciate, and I don't know how to make them appreciate, what society gives us in exchange. I've thought about writing about it in terms of what you give up. What you have to give up to what you gain. Because every point at which we gain, the people that say we don't need capitalism, we don't need society, and that we can function without it, and all these different things that we give up that gain bits of freedom, and nothing comes more. The gun debate in the States versus the UK sums it up brilliantly. Okay, I watch what happens in the States.
Hey, Sandy.
Hello.
Hello.
You've got the video playing.
I got the video play. I am so sorry. There you go. See, I was watching.
Yes.
I apologize. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Excuse me?
I've never met Santi the Sane. Are you?
Am I
Are you
sane?
Yeah.
In theory.
Okay.
In theory, Santi the Sane comes from Wanko, the Sane from Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. It's not about me being sane. Being sane is about the rest of the world being insane.
That's right.
You're saner.
I'm just saner.
Do you happen to be 42?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I can't wait. I do play D&D on Saturdays, and my character is named 42nd. From those who are familiar with the joke. Got this guy I met you before. Pork Papa, always. How you doing? And like, let's move on. I don't want to be the center of attention.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I was just going to give an example before I moved on to the next question, which is with gun control.
Ahead. I am so sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. With gun control in the States versus the UK and the police, right? And the police in the States have to approach every traffic stop like the person in the car has a gun. Right, and just that alone, the number of people that die from that justifies gun control.
Well,
right? Because we don't have...
Living in the States, you have to approach anybody.
Yes.
As if they were armed, because they all have the right to. And
yes, and this is the point.
Here you can get a license to have a concealed weapon. So you can go to the market with an AK-47, like freaking stuck in your trench coat, and like it's completely legal as long as you have a license.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
So the point is, even before you get into all the legitimacy of personal protection, of why you would want that, and all that, all you get down to the accidental deaths, just from the police having to assume that everyone has a gun.
The real problem is the chokehold that the NRA has on politicians and the information about guns.
Yeah, that's screwy.
Oh.
I find it very disturbing.
I mean, I know Americans who are like pro Second Amendment, but fucking hate the NRA. You know.
Well, this is the problem. The idea. I don't understand how in the States you have ended up in this situation where you are pro this right, which is not necessarily a terrible right. I'm not arguing against the right, but that you can go from being pro this to not having any control, any sort of sane control over it. Anyway, I'm going to have to put some more.
That's easy. It's like the ultimate display of the slippery slope.
Yeah.
This is how bad the slippery slope can be.
It's the
doesn't make
one
it right,
time that
but-
I use the F word. Get rid of the fucking guns.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a controversial solution. Like everybody should have a gun.
No, everyone
no.
having a gun.
As soon as,
No.
Well,
everybody. Like
the problem is-
they should make it like a class in school to teach you how to handle and use a gun, right? And when you get out of school, you get out with a license. So everybody, it will equalize the. No, this wouldn't work everywhere, but
This
here
wouldn't work anywhere.
Here, there's
Uh,
a very big.
I think okay. I'm not really advocating for this, but it would be better than what you've got now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Like, that's
the
my
cops
point.
When they stop you, they wonder if you're armed or unarmed, right? And then like if everybody's armed, they will have to approach people differently, and there will be more knowledge. And then like imagine if you walk into a school and try to do a shooting, but everybody has a gun.
So you want 6-year-olds to
Yeah,
carry
hold
guns?
on.
No.
It's a ridiculous. I'm sorry. No, it's a ridiculous. I'm saying it's a ridiculous. It's absolutely. It's an insane suggestion. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's not.
Absolutely. No, it is a completely.
The point is,
insane
the point
suggestion.
is not that it wouldn't. The point is that it would be better, and this is not 6-year-olds having guns, but it would be better than what you have now. Is the point.
At least
That is my point. Here,
it would
it will
not
be
be.
impossible to take the guns away from everybody. It will be impossible.
It would.
No, it would. Australia did it.
How?
Australia's not America. I hang out with this guy, right? I went to play D&D with my American friend Cameron, right? 5 minutes into being into his house, he comes out with 2 9mm and 3 shotguns, just to show me his collection. Like it's part of their culture. Like it's I look at it from outside. I hate guns. I can't stand them. I get nervous at the sight of them because I grew up in a place where they were shooting a lot all the time, right? But here, like in order, like if you try to make like the British police, like go around with the batons, right? They're gonna get shot because people are not gonna give up their weapons here, and so what they need is like either. And then again, it's their constitutional right. So what they need is better training and better understanding of these guns, so we can take them out slowly.
I don't
And
see.
if you come out with a gun, you just become like, you know.
I'm not arguing about the better education part. It's the bit you started off with. Give
Everyone
everyone
should have a gun.
No, that is going to add to the insanity. No matter how well you educate people on guns, that is going to add to the insanity.
Go on, Jenny.
I love guns. I really do. I have owned guns. I have done sport shooting. I've gone hunting. I like going in the back 40 and just plinking.
How many do you have under the bed?
At rocks and bushes and stuff. I do not own any guns.
Yeah.
I will probably not own any guns. I do not believe I should have a gun because I think I would use it.
Absolutely. If I had a gun, 5 minutes later, I'd be dead. You do not want me to have a gun.
I was taught how to carry a shotgun at under 10, going hunting with my dad and things like that. And it was education. You know, when I got my gun license, I went through the entire rigmarole. Police checks had to come out to check the house. They made sure everything was safe. Then I got the guns and I went to the land where I was going to use it with me and my friend. And we sat there and waited for an hour because I wouldn't let him anywhere near it and not fire the gun until my father arrived, who was trained in the army, to give us to go through the safety of actually using the gun. You know, the first night we were there, he was there for the entire time. My stepfather was there for the entire second time we were there. And then we're where we go, we can do what we want. But the point is education. You were taught how to use it. You were taught to be safe with it.
Yeah.
But even if you're taught how to be safe, a hothead with a gun
It's still a hothead with a gun.
upset with someone is going
Yeah.
to shoot and kill someone before they think.
I'm not
Right,
agreeing
let me just-
I'm agreeing with Santi that everybody should be educated. What I think Santi's trying to say is he says that everybody in America should have a gun and they should be educated. Everybody in America can have a gun right now if they want. Everybody in America is not educated on guns.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's my
the
point.
thing is,
Because here, everybody has the right to get it
Again.
without any training. Like you can literally go and buy it without any license or permits or anything like that. They should take your name. As long as you don't take it out of your house, you can have this gun, and you don't even have to know how to like use the safety on it.
Yeah, see, Santi's already saying that everybody should have a gun. Everybody in America already has the right to have a gun.
And
Right, just let me catch up on the chat.
Here's the thing: I've got to get this out because let's talk about this scenario because this is a scenario I've not been hearing. You hear from the blooming NRA or whatever all the time, like, give the good guys guns or whatever. And this whole situation, everyone has a gun. Like someone walks into a school shooting, and everyone's got a gun. Here's the thing: even if everyone's trained, knows how to use a gun or whatever, in a situation like that, people are going to panic.
Yeah.
And you got a load of people with guns.
No.
You want in a panicky state like that? It's
Jeff,
insane.
Jeff, you can't compare.
In addition to that,
I completely agree with everything you just
Vanity.
said, but you can't compare what you are describing with what Santi is describing.
Well,
I thought that
also-
was more or less what he was describing.
No, because he's talking about everyone knowing how to properly use a gun. Right,
Did he not say earlier in this everyone should have a gun?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
but he was
everyone
being
knows
hyperbolic
proper training
to the
is
point.
So how? Yeah, with proper training.
Just like everybody has to go to public school
So how is
legally,
how is
we should add it to the class. In Texas, if I'm not mistaken, they already have a rifle club or class where they teach you how to do competitive shooting.
Yeah. So how is my point irrelevant to a school shooting then if everyone's got a goddamn gun?
Because
they all got, it's not like a bunch of prepared people with guns.
Yeah,
People have been training for years on how to handle these guns and these situations.
Yeah, they're still gonna.
And again, if everybody's armed in the school, how far the shooter is gonna get?
Yeah, that's the point. It's the expectation.
I can't believe
it's not
fucking insanity I'm listening to right now. Honestly,
insanity is that they're all allowed to have a gun without any training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Without any check.
Your point is I completely agree. What the NRA are suggesting, like to give the good guys a gun, is completely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's taking a scenario where guns aren't around and giving them to specific people. It will go very badly. Okay. And where I say it's not comparison is because that with a culture where everyone has a gun, everyone is trained to how to use a gun, is different. I mean, I'm with you. I think there should be no guns. Okay? I'm just saying that would be better than what they have now. Jenny.
Every school shooting, every guy on the 15th floor of a hotel, every guy in a clock tower, every guy walking into a restaurant, up until the moment the first shot was fired, was a good guy with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the whole good guy, bad guy concept. That's for movies. Like it's not real. Like every group has bad and good. Like it's not. Like.
No, what it addresses for me is that line that is crossed, any of us can cross at any time, depending on the scenario, and that's what's dangerous about gun ownership. That's what's dangerous about everyone having a gun. It has nothing to do with safety training. It has entirely to do with anger management, basic sanity, mental illness, and toxic masculinity, frankly.
And I just to say, full disclosure here.
Jenny, as you said, take someone that just snapped. Somebody was a good guy with a gun right up until the point that they fired that one shot, right up until they had that bad day. Having guns in America as available as they are lowers the bar. You know, if I really am having a bad day, I go out and I'll scream and I'll shout and I'll do this, that, and the other. If I'm having a really bad day and I have a gun, it's a hell of a lot easier for me to go out and take it out on people. It lowers the bar of what you need to be to go and kill someone. Like if it takes a psycho to go and shoot someone, it's only going to take a half a psycho on a bad day because guns are.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that
this assumption that we're sane all the time is probably a bad one.
No, but you know what I mean, Dave. You know what I mean.
Yeah, very much so. I completely agree.
Yeah, I do.
Go on, Jeff.
And I don't.
And then I've got to catch up with the
chat. And I've just got to say, full disclosure here, I'm saying everything I'm saying as someone who used to own a gun, okay? Full disclosure on that. I think the UK gun laws America could learn a lot from.
Yeah. Right. And I still think we have got some problems with ours. One lady says, guns are too splashy. Seraphim says, people are have an emotional attachment to their guns. Even with gun safety, children don't know any better.
Yes.
I have a friend with a small boy.
Accidents would be off the charts.
Yes.
But I'm not saying give guns to toddlers.
Yes.
Like,
but somebody's gonna forget to lock their gun safe. Somebody's gonna forget, leave a gun.
I find it very disturbing.
And the child's gonna find it.
The blaseness.
That already happened.
I find it
already happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're going to multiply it by 10 because you've got 10 times more guns.
Right. Anyway, we're going to move up. Right. Jennifer says, I think Santi is underestimating the stupidity of the general population.
Yeah.
Doc says, all guns should be replaced by submarine sandwiches. Who's with me?
I'm with him.
Nerdy says, people irrationally hate other people. Give them guns and you've got carnage. Nerdy says, how about rocket launchers? If everyone has a gun, they should have grenades and heat-seeking missiles.
Personal atomics.
Yep.
Flamethrower.
Neighborhood nuclear superiority.
Faye says, nerdy, but if we know Grandma is packing, we don't speak to her.
Strangely enough, in this country, Dave, over here in Northern Ireland, you can actually get more powerful guns and more powerful rifles legally than you can in the rest of the UK, which is insane.
There you go. Nerdy makes a good point. A trained psychopath is probably worse than an untrained psychopath.
Well,
not wrong.
I didn't think that went through.
You didn't think any of it through. I'm sorry, Santi, love you to bits. You did not think that thing through at all. I'm sorry.
Oh, he loves me to bits. I adore that.
Nerdy says, I think we're going to have a debate about this at another point. And I think I know who's coming.
I would love to do a stream.
Yes.
Talk about it.
This was... what the hell was the question? Wait there.
Let's move on to the question.
Yeah. The question had nothing to do with guns.
I'm going to say, we got to get on with this because ring strings coming.
I know, I'm trying to get to the end of this so I can... right, okay. If everyone...
In America, I can go out and I can buy a 50 caliber sniper rifle. And if I have the skills, I can take somebody out from 1.5 miles away.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough,
why does that exist?
Oddly enough, I had an argument with someone. It was with Badger and someone else, and he was talking about the fact that that an armed populace, the government should fear the people, and an armed populace is bad for the government. Okay. Now, apart from the fact that America has an armed populace and the fucking government is what getting away with this shit is neither irrelevant here. So I suggested, as an alternative, we ban all guns apart from sniper rifles.
Oh gosh.
Okay, no. Right now, it's the same level. Right now, this very moment in American history that is being written as we sit here and make light of the situation, the government is frightened to death of the people right now. The people are in the streets. The people are finally saying,
yeah, but it's not because of their arms.
And not one gun is being used.
That's what I mean.
That's why it's useless.
People, and they do not
have to be afraid of
guns.
us.
Yes.
And we don't have to be afraid of them. We have numbers. We have will. And we have the intelligence.
Yeah, but how long will it last?
Yeah, but
right. Anyway, no. No points yet. Need to finish the chat. Need to get to the next question so we can end. We have a hard limit today. Otherwise, I'd let this go on forever. Nerdy says, if everyone has a gun, then everyone wears body armor. I find those fucking school bags horrific. The school backpacks in the selling in the States that have got metal in the back.
Yep.
What the hell is wrong? Jennifer says, any of us could make a snap decision which we immediately regret. Adding a gun equals tragedy. This Amber.
Yes. But the problem is that guns are there. Like
yes.
They're not going anywhere. Like that's where that's why the solution is so far. But like, let's go to the questions. Let's go. We'll do a stream about it. Like, I promise.
Right.
Like,
if you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.